this time of year, there's a lot of things that can really affect your flock in general, right? It gets real hot. You've had long days. You're working towards molt. There's a lot of things that could really harm your hens, or just not necessarily harm your hens, but let's just say they can stress them out, right? And maybe you're not really sure exactly what's going on. Maybe you feel like your egg production has dropped. Maybe you feel like there's just something going on there, and maybe you're just not really sure what's happened. Well, let's kind of talk about some things that could possibly be stressing your chickens out and what you can look for. So we get the girls out into the yard. That's always fun. I don't know why. I just always enjoy it. Watch them run around and fly around is always fun. But see, they look really happy and things are going well. Kinda, right? Well, like our flock is under a little bit of stress right now, and there's truly two reasons for it. Maybe three, actually. Three reasons for it. Number one is Angela and I have got 6 young ones that we're trying to work into the flock. So things are a little different in the coop. Like our flock is an extraordinarily tight-knit group, okay? They're so used to things being exactly the way they want them all the time, day in, day out. Angela, Jason, here, do this, do that, everything's the same, right? Well, we threw a little wrench in there for them. As you can see, here's our 6 young ones right here, beautiful, looking good, but they're not here by themselves, right? Because they are not part of this group yet, right? All these girls over here doing their own thing. Doesn't mean they're not pretty. They're not, huh, Miss Ann? Yeah, you're looking good. Looking good, ain't you? Yeah, of course. So because we're throwing a wrench in the system, it's going to affect them a little bit. And it's also the time of year where some of the older ones especially are heading towards molt. In fact, one of them is already molting. Gracie, you're already molting, huh? You're a good kid, but you're already molting. You've already molted. You're already losing some feathers. See, look, she's only got one tail feather. So see, Gracie's only got one tail feather left, and it's kind of scraggly, and her comb has really shrunk down and is pale. Obviously, she's going through molt, okay? She's molting. But, like, if she's not molting and that comb shrinks down and gets pale, man, there's something really wrong, okay? But you can tell if she's molting, if she lost some feathers. A lot of times ours, okay, that's all I can go by, will sit around and kind of shake their heads. All right, they'll just kind of sit there and shake their head, and and they're not laying eggs, okay? That's the next thing. Gracie's 8 years old, but she's laid pretty well this year. She just molted early because, well, she's old. That happens, right? And so you see, those things will tend to affect them. So we threw new ones in the mix. We're trying to work them in, slowly work them in, throwing a wrench in their system. They're working towards molt. We have one chicken in there who's not going to be seen, at least hopefully. I don't think she's around anywhere. That is just not doing well. That happens. She's 8 years old. She's outlived her normal lifespan anyways. She doesn't walk very well. She's lost a lot of feathers. She gets picked on, and so she freaks out all the time. Well, that messes with them too. You have one of your members of your flock who's freaking out and not doing well, and then she gets picked on a bunch. That's throwing a wrench in the system as well. So you have all these things working against you, and like we went through a little feed controversy, right? We didn't know what was going on with our feed. We thought we had different things going on. We switched feeds a couple times, and we actually said, let's just go back to what was working the first time, and that's what we should have done. And we're working our way back into it. And like you'll see that, like, okay, here's a beautiful egg. Now it looks almost white because it's a whiting true blue. It's a light blue, okay. And just later in the year, it's not going to be as blue. If you're not aware that colored eggs, the tinting of the shells fade as the year goes on. So it's not a great color necessarily, but it's a great egg. And you can't really, I don't know if you can tell, but it's so super smooth. Like the shell is extraordinarily smooth, right? Well, that's our 4-year-old whiting true blue. She lays great eggs, and she's actually been a really good layer even at 4 years old. Now, when we're going through the feed switching, and trying to figure out what's going on with our feed and what we need to be feeding them, her eggs went from looking really nice like this to having these calcium deposits on top and being a little rough here and there. And several of our other eggs as well went to being a little rough. They got smaller, okay? A lot of things happen, and so you could look at your eggs, okay? And if your eggs start looking rough, just rough bottoms, calcium deposits, inconsistent shells, smaller, inconsistent sizing, inconsistent laying, those are all good signs, right? Those are all good signs that something's going on in a broader manner. It doesn't necessarily have to be your feed either, okay, by the way. It could be a predator has been around and they know the predator's around. We've had a few raccoons this year we had to eliminate. You don't know what that raccoon has done overnight. The raccoon cannot get into that coop as far as I can tell. We've done our best job possible of making it predator proof. Raccoons can still figure out stuff, and they can still be mischievous overnight. Just because a raccoon can't get in there doesn't mean it didn't run around, scratch at the sides, try to get in there somehow. Okay, doesn't mean it didn't try, and if it tries, it's gonna scare the chickens as well. So you don't know what's going on overnight. Now, a lot of times people have cameras on their coop outside. We don't, honestly. It's not like us to not do that, because as much as we care about these chickens, but we don't. So you don't know exactly what's happened right here when you're in there and it's dark, right? So that can affect things as well. You got to understand that so many things it's just the slightest things can really knock them off course. So you've got heat working against them. You know, we've had feed issues. We're working new girls into the flock. We've got another girl that's kind of old and in the process of dying. It's going to be a long process because she's still got a lot of strength in her. So she got that going on. You know, we've had a few predators we had to get rid of. There's all these things that just really mess with the feng shui. Yes, I said feng shui. But we do have these young girls. Huh, Diana? That's Speckle, or not Speckle, goodness. Speckle's the name of my dad. That's Pebbles. You got Naomi right here, who's doing good, but she's panting. See that? Okay, she's panting, not because nothing's wrong, but because she's hot. Isn't that right? Yeah. Hey, kiddos. This one right here was laying, not now. She molts early. Huh, there you go, kiddos. There's how you know Tootie's doing good. Huh, Tootie, you doing better now? Yeah, you're doing good. And again, if you see that right there, you see her panting. She's just hot, okay? I'm glad we got those shots of those girls panting, because that just means they're hot, okay? That's just all it is. They'll drop their wings out so they can get air up underneath them in their armpits, essentially, right? And then they'll be panting because they don't have sweat glands. Remember that. Chickens don't have sweat glands. They don't sweat. We sweat. Mammals, humans sweat, right? Chickens don't have that. So they pant and expel the hot air, but that also makes them dehydrate. Okay, so that's why you gotta have plenty of good, clean, fresh water available. We prefer cold water. I do believe it helps. You know, first of all, encourage them to drink more because it's cold. Put a little bit of apple cider vinegar in it. Organic, unfiltered apple cider vinegar with the mother. Okay, specify, not just plain apple cider vinegar, but the stuff with the mother in it. But you put a little bit of that in their water. They enjoy that. Get some probiotic in them at the same time, and that really helps them to drink more water. Okay, and that'll help reduce the stress on them as well, and just get them through these hot times. So again, if you look at that, so ways to tell that there's some stress going on. Okay, obviously interrupted egg production, problems with how the eggs look. Okay, this is a really beautiful egg. Sometimes they can get deformed, misshapen. They can be, like I said, really rough on the exterior. Those are all issues. Okay, look, there's something going on. And if it's just one chicken, you can analyze that one chicken, okay, and see, hey, there's something going on with her. But if it's your whole flock, if you're getting several of those eggs, hey, what's going on with this flock, right? That's what you really got to look at, is what's going on with this flock then. What's stressing them out? Because there's several things that can happen to stress them out. I went over that. But those are some ways you can really, really, really analyze your flock. Make sure they're okay. Honestly, make sure they're doing okay. And make sure that if there's something going on, you can pinpoint it, recognize it, pinpoint it, and then correct it, right? So thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. My name is Jason. This is Art of Creation Homestead. We love y'all. God bless you. Goodbye.